Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Thanks for being here with some Nintendo Switch Online and chill. Just ranting, speaking, talking, playing. Game is basically the background. I'm on third shift this week, which means that I'll be going in at like 11 p.m. Monday night, and I'll more than likely be getting home around 10 a.m. the next day. So this means that I'll be up a little longer. Hello, Nerf Squid. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. It's been a while, huh? Masashibiri ni. So I'll just be chilling and playing whatever. Ohayou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. XS desu. Kyou no haishin wa Nintendo Switch Online です。オンラインじゃない。オンラインです。すみません。もろい日本語。この配信は雑談です。But I'm pretty good. Hello, Blues. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. So yeah. Just a thing. But I do wonder. How are you guys? How is everyone? What are you looking forward to this week? What's going on? You know? My weeks are basically the same each week. I just rotate between shifts and whatnot, second and third. So my work is steady. And I've gotten better about what I'm dealing with as well. So I'm less angry and more attentive. Thanks for the hearts, guys. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I feel pretty good actually. And as far as work goes, and as far as being able to stream for you guys as well, and being able to do this makes it where I can actually vent as well, and just say whatever. Because as you guys know, I am a pretty quiet streamer. So unless I'm like voice acting something on screen, I'm pretty quiet because I usually don't really know what to say. But that's usually one of the reasons why I ask you guys, you know, what's up and whatnot. I know it's like, oh, I'm mooching on chat or something, but I mean, you know. Hello, Darksa. Welcome, welcome. Blues. But I'm gonna kill the music and just play whatever. Join back. Hello, Flitwit. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. Surprised you're up at this time. Figured you'd be sleeping at this point. But nice to see you. But yeah, I'm just chilling. Doing whatever. Watching to go to sleep to? Okay, that's fine. I am okay with that. But yeah. I've been, in terms of the last week though, I've been pretty decent. So I mean, nothing too like different is gonna happen this week that I know of, because the schedule's the same. But like, things should still be fine. I wish I could think of something interesting that would happen. I mean, the only thing I can say is that last week we had something called Spirit Week at work, which was pretty cool. It was a nice thing to do after just, you know, working all the time. Because one of the things that I usually complain about is that people don't really care too much about, or it feels like people don't care too much about the workers themselves, but rather just the numbers and what, you know, having a body there. which, you know, is an old way of thinking. You can't really run businesses that way anymore because people do have a word about things. People are actually more direct about things. So if there are concerns, a lot of times you are going to voice them, you're going to hear about them. And a lot of times people aren't trained for that sort of thing, and that's why they get scared, you know. Also, to everyone, Flitwick, also known as B12, is the one who has designed me through me. And I love it. This is my face. And I hope you like it. Because I love it. But companies are really weird about that sort of thing where I'm at here in the Alpine. And it feels like they don't really, like I said, because they have the anyone is replaceable mentality. But that shouldn't be the reason for you to not really care about your employees. Because back in the day, sure, there were some places that were like top notch where it's like, okay, well, you have to be there. Like, you are running into a place where it's like a high establishment, I guess. I don't know. But nowadays, that high establishment is not the same. It's worse now. And people have more options these days. So it's not like, oh yeah, you must work here because there's no place better. No, there's plenty of places better now. So you have to start thinking about how you are going to keep your employees and workers and stuff. It's no different from like, it's kind of like look at it more like a video game, like a cooperative video game, you know, like, I don't know, what's it called? Pokemon Unite, League of Legends, I don't know. You rely on other people to help you out and stuff, and obviously, when things don't go your way, you get a little angry, you get a little heated, right? You get a little toxic. Because you have multiple minds working with / against each other. And it can get a little, you know, hectic. And of course, like with those people, you can find a different teammate with each match, more than likely. This is the same mentality that a lot of companies have with their employees. And they'll even get people who are willing to work for less as well, because that's, you know, less for them to have to pay out to people. So why would they not, why would they try to hold on to someone who is demanding for more money and complaining a lot about issues when they can keep people who don't say much and who are willing to work a low wage because they're just content, right? That's what's called hiring drones. Basically, like the bees, or the worker bees or whatever. Basically it just means that you want... Okay, where's the door? Okay. I went past it. この笛吹いたら遠くの国へもひとっ飛び。They just want people who basically keep silent and will work for a low wage. As long as the work is getting done, what's the point in trying to pay them more money, right? Compared to the person who is complaining about things. They're like, well, we can just hire somebody else who can just do the job and not complain, right? But you have to understand that when you do have something happening within that place or in that area, you have to be able to consult HR about stuff like that, because you can't let everything slide anymore, or you just shouldn't let everything slide, you know. I'm not saying that everyone has to cater to your every whim, because that's not how things should go. But when there is a genuine issue, especially when multiple people have complained about it for years and nothing has gotten done, you shouldn't give up because it can't slide for forever, can it? You have different people that pop in from time to time. So it really shouldn't be like that. Oh, I'm dead. Okay. Anyway, it has to get better at some point, but the only way it's going to get better is if you can voice your opinion. Now do it diplomatically. Don't go in screaming and hollering like a child, obviously. You want to be able to get your point across. Hello, Motivational. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. Hope everything is going well. You want to be able to get your point across in a diplomatic way, in a way where you would be well respected for it. You don't have to go in with a bunch of curse words and slurs in order to get your point across. You can just say, I have a concern. In fact, I did that with HR probably a few weeks to a month ago. I think it was a few weeks. I don't know if it's been a month yet since I've said anything, but that's what I did. That's what I said to my HR. And she wrote some things down. I don't know if anything's gonna get done. I don't know what was said, but I brought up to her the concerns that I had that has been a concern in the plant for a while. And I guess they don't know how to approach it, or they just didn't feel like it needed to be approached because people were still doing their job. But I feel like as someone who's almost been there for 2 years, even though I thought I was only there for less than a year, for almost 2 years, you just, if I'm seeing it and I've only been there for such a short amount of time and I'm watching it happen, I'm observing it happen, then I need to tell them, hey, this is what's happening and I don't think this is a good idea because this is not the spot for this person. If you're trying to think about productivity, then I can promise you that this is not the place for him. Because he can't stay in one spot, like I've said before. This isn't me like actually being angry or anything. This is just me being legit. Hello, Atomic Star. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. But I can definitely tell that he's just there for a paycheck. And I mean, we have to live, right? We do need money in order to live. That is 100% true. That is society. That is how we run. X is real, right? But at the same time, wouldn't you want to be known for doing something well? Wouldn't you want to be dependable and whatnot? Instead of someone that's being talked about all the time about how they don't do much and they're just there, you know? Like, I feel like it's usually, and I guess this isn't always the case because I talked to my father about this at one point. It's not always the case, but it seems like those who complain the most are usually the ones that feel like they're being wronged in some sort of way. It's either those who are doing too much or those who are basically lazy for the most part. People who complain who are lazy are like, I don't want to do this. But people who are working a lot are like, I don't want to keep carrying them, basically. Save. So it's a decision that you have to make. I first went in thinking, okay, well, they're not going to listen to me, so I might as well quit. And I've mentioned this multiple times on several streams on over. Because it was aggravating me. And I was like, well, I know a lot of older people work here. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Let me check something. What's going on, computer? Okay. Seems okay. Computer is just loading stuff, I guess. I don't know. I gotta look into what other programs I have running because it's doing something weird. But anyway, as time moves forward, you have to understand that companies are going to have to change based on the people that you end up hiring because times do change. And if you work like a productivity job, you're welcome, no problem. Go touch my step. Things need to be said, basically. If someone is bullying you, and you're just like, oh, I don't think I can take them, and maybe if I ignore them, they'll go away. This was a mindset, this was something I was told when I was younger, That, if someone's bothering you, ignore it or tell the teacher, tell the principal, something like that, right? Um, there was a point in time where neither the teacher nor the principal could help. In fact, there have been cases outside of school at like a social gathering where something like this would occur, where someone is just like bullying you to the point of putting their hands on you and maybe slapping glasses off of your face. Yes, this has happened to me, of course. Because look at me, I'm a nerd, can't you tell? I look like someone who wears glasses, I sound like someone who wears glasses. But yes, I've been bullied. Who hasn't, right? But I've had glasses slapped off my face multiple times. Whenever something like that occurs, that is when I throw everything out of the window. I go insane, and I will go at them as much as I possibly can because they have no right to do such a thing, right? A bully usually bugs you because you have something that they don't. Because, for example, what reason would I have to bully any of you in chat, right? You guys come to my streams, you listen to me or watch me, you say a few things or you lurk, and it's fine, right? But what reason would I have, even if you were like, oh, quote unquote bullying the streamer or whatever, what real reason would I have to bully you, right? And then if I bully you, you'd bully me back, right? And it may get even more heated to the point where something as silly as tomfoolery may turn into an actual thing. From ironic to unironic, right? But if you end up bullying someone, that means that more than likely you're jealous of something or you're aggravated with something, right? So I don't have a reason to bully any of you guys. But you have more of a reason to bully me if I'm doing bad gameplay or something. Which, I mean, is pretty normal, okay? Let's be honest on that. Or if you're being helpful, trying to let me know something. And I don't mind too much bullying, because, quite honestly, there are only a few games that I'm good at. So I actually appreciate anyone trying to tell me stuff. But if you're like rude about it, like, you should have tagged, Diphthong. You should have tagged. Why didn't you tag? Why are you jumping so much? You shouldn't shield. What are you doing? Stuff like that. No one does that, okay? Let's be honest. I've done many Smash streams and stuff, and no one does it to that degree, obviously. But, but like, I mean, bullying is just a thing that occurs based on someone being jealous about something, or there's some sort of fear or something, or they feel like they can just take on someone because they might be bigger than someone else. Which, I mean, strength isn't always going to prevail in a matter like that. Especially if someone is being bullied all the time, that means they're going to figure out a different way to approach that situation. Sometimes you have to confront the bully to let them know, hey, this is annoying, you're getting on my nerves, or alright, I'm going to stand up to you, and then they'll probably leave you alone because you actually did something about it this time. And you're like, oh shoot, I thought he was just some wimpy kid. Turns out he's crazy. I don't want to deal with that person anymore. Are you kidding me? So they'll leave you alone. But this is different because you're now dealing with a workplace where people pay you to do a job. Perfect clear. And so when you're being paid to do something and the other person is also being paid to do the same thing, you don't want to carry them because you're not getting double the money. Once again, money isn't everything, but you do need it to live. And if you're not being compensated for it, because the whole purpose of being at the job is to do the job, then you don't want to be doing anything extra. You don't want to be carrying anyone in terms of like knowing fully well that the other person is not doing their share. Because you watch them not at their post frequently, literally every day. You see the problem, your other coworker sees the problem, but no one does anything about it, right? So it aggravates you. So you think, okay, well, I don't need to be a part of this problem anymore. I need to get out of here. Because like I said, It's not the only job that exists in this day and age. There are many other jobs out there that you can do. But what my father has told me is that focus on what you do and do, and I'll say it, do a damn good job, like, with it. And people are going to see that. They're going to recognize you for what you do. Because I actually work under actions speak louder than words. So when it comes to working anywhere that I work at, a lot of times people will be like, wow, he's a machine, you know. They're a machine. They're working like a machine, you know. What's she doing, you know? Because when you get used to doing something, you get the muscle memory for it. You getting the flow for it, right? And then you just go. You don't have to worry about what comes next. You don't have to fear anything. Whatever comes up, you're like, okay, well, I can approach this with a clear mind. And then you can get it done. And that's what sets you apart from the others around you. It's about problem solving and efficiency, for the most part, I guess. It's all about doing things in a timely manner and whatnot. So with my coworker, like I said, they'll come to work not even starting out being ready to work. The moment I step foot into my establishment, if I don't have my stuff on me, I go to my locker and get my stuff. And then I go back to where I need to be, and I'm there for the rest of my shift. Yes, 9 hours, 10 hours, however many hours is a long time to be. But if you're doing your job accordingly, it's going to fly by. And you're going to feel like, wow, I didn't get as much stuff done as I really wanted to, which is usually my thing. Because I've gotten so used to the job that I do. And I love it. So I love the job. I don't have any qualms with my position at all. But I have an issue with, like many others, with the one person who is not pulling their fair share, does not come to work, and is only surviving for the week. But, like I said, I don't focus on that as much anymore as I used to. After getting that talk from my father, it made me think about it in a different light, and I feel a heck of a lot better about things. I'm less fearful, I'm less stressed out. In fact, that coworker of mine, I believe, fears me so much now that even if something happens, he does not ask me for help. In which case, I'm fine with, because the whole thing about that was, he's looking for the help. Like, but in like a nonchalant way, if you understand what I mean. It's like, oh man, come take a look at this. You know, this looks kind of bad. And it's like, me and my other coworker are just like, yeah, it kind of looks bad. Are you going to do anything about it? We don't have to. And you surely shouldn't be asking me, because I should be asking you, because you've been here way longer than I have. You know, trying to, you know, goad that out of you. Goad that out of me. So now, if he sees it, he just does it. Or goes to and tries. He may struggle a little bit, but I've also shown with my silence and my furrowed brows that you need not ask me unless you truly need help. You know better, basically. So I'm basically like being the parent to the child, despite me being much younger. And that's not my fault, really. So sometimes being silent can be a good thing. Though another reason why I'm so silent too is that I've voiced my concerns already. I've voiced it towards him. And you know, no one's going to admit when they're wrong about something when it comes to... No one's going to admit to anything when it comes to them being the problem, right? So, like I said, me being an observer, I'm just like, okay, well, this is how this went. And I'm gonna die. Oh, I didn't die. Cool. So he's going to do his best to either cover up what has happened before someone comes around, or he's going to actually fix it. To which I'm like, okay, cool, he actually fixed it. Is he gonna know that from me? Not until he's consistent about it, because he does get a big head, and he gets distracted very easily, which is another reason why I don't say anything to him. You get into a conversation with him, and he's gonna forget that he's even at work. I've observed this. Many have. It's not a good thing. So if you guys probably noticed the issue, right? It's not that necessarily he's a bad worker. It's that he's in the wrong place. And the reason why... Wow, okay. He disappeared and I got hit. And the reason why is not because maybe we think he can be productive over here. I've stated before, it's because this is where he'll get in the least amount of trouble. What? Least amount of trouble? But we're producing stuff right now. If he's not at the machine running the machine and the machine has stopped and he's kept it stopped for many a minute or an hour or so, that's not production. And that's something that will cause us to stay over an extra day, which we don't want to do, because my morning coworker and I already worked 9 to 10 hours a day for 5 days. We don't want to work a sixth. And I don't want to work a sixth. Can I get the money from there? Could I work 12 hours a day at that place? I absolutely could. Hands down, no problem. And here's the reason why. Because, once again, I don't fear my job. It's not a difficult job. I know how to do the whole process without anyone else around me. I've gotten so independent that I don't need any assistance for the most part. And once I get my machine set up ready to run and all I have to do is watch, guess what I'm doing, guys? I'm either playing on like a 3DS, playing on my phone, or studying Japanese. For at least 3 hours or so. Until I need to do something else with the machine. And then it's rinse and repeat. Sounds easy from the way that I'm explaining it. It's not necessarily easy, because it was difficult for me for half a year. Because it was also new to me. But keeping that in mind, you would think, oh, you learn fast. Not necessarily. There were some simple things that I didn't understand until I did. You would think anyone would understand it until you realize it's not common knowledge, or it's not, what's it called? Common sense, rather. It's something that you actually learn. It's not instinct. So, like I said, I learned that. So now I have no issues. Regardless of the shift type, whether it be me going in third shift, second shift, it's the same job. My only thing I don't like, obviously, is I don't like going in after that coworker. Because, obviously, well, anything could happen. He could be doing nothing, or he could be trying to hide something. Cool thing about me is, I know what's out of place. I know what hair is out of place. So I can already know who did what, how it was done, and whether or not it was supposed to be a, if someone was trying to actually cover it up or not. Or if it was a genuine forget. Sometimes I can just tell that from doing it for so long. Or not from doing it for so long, but from doing it so consistently, rather. So that's what I do at work every day, basically. So a lot of times I'll end up texting a friend or something while I'm there once I get the machine situated. Because all that's left to do now is watch for a thread to fall. Because I've mentioned before, I watch yarn spin. I watch thread spin. That's my job. For 3 to 5 hours. Depending on the sets that we run and stuff, all that type of stuff. I guess you could call me like an engineer, but I'm more like an operator, like a machine operator sort of deal. But it's not that the job is easy. I kind of made it easy. My morning coworker did the same thing. Because he said it wasn't that easy for him either until he made it easy for him. And that's what you have to do, guys. With anything that becomes difficult, you have to make it easy or make it less stressful. So if it's something that you can't handle or something that you feel like you shouldn't really, or that you can't really deal with, the best thing to do is to ignore it, which is what most people have been doing with the case that I've said. But I've already brought up, you know, my concerns to HR, like I said. Once I've done that, it's out of my hands, you see. But the job itself is fine. I've already gotten that situated. Even knowing, in fact, I set up a lot of that stuff myself, despite being there for such a short amount of time, because I've gotten so used to the job itself. I could go in late by like 10 minutes and still get things situated. I don't like going in late though, because the earlier I get to work, the earlier I can leave. I wouldn't call myself a time clock worker. I would call myself a diligent worker, because the moment I get in, I'm working, and then I want to get out of there. If anything, my sleep suffers because sometimes it's hard for me to get to sleep. Or sometimes I've done so much that I wake up the next day and I'm like, man, I really don't feel like getting out of bed because of all that I've done the day before. Thinking about the good of the order and what needs to be done and how far we'll all be with the efforts being pulled together from each coworker and stuff. And when we already know one isn't going to pull their weight, and we also know that two of us can actually get the job done, we weigh the pros and cons of, do we stay longer or will it be okay the next day? Oh, well, this is new to me. I found a secret that I've never found before. And you guys witnessed it. And I'm just ranting. So that's kind of cool. Hope you're doing great. Hello, April. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. I'm doing pretty well. How are you today? I'm just ranting about things as I play NSO in the background and whatnot. Just talking about work and stuff. Hope your day's going well. Where was I? All in all, the work's good. Like, but I do want to get home so I'm able to stream to you guys. That's the thing. To all who watches, VOD watchers, you too. Thank you for taking a gander. If you've gone this far in, thanks, because it's just a rant. Maybe you like the way I sound, or you're just, you know, whatever. I'm fine now. I do like Mario stuff. I'm glad. Are you looking forward to Mario Wonder? It's coming out in 19 days, I think, from this time. Or I guess you could say 18. It's almost the next day for me in a few minutes. Comes out on the 20th, I believe. But yeah, works fine for the most part. But if they could just figure something out with that person, not listen to me when I say this, not fire them, but like put them somewhere in a place where it's not production oriented. Even something as simple as I don't necessarily want to say like cleaning or janitorial, because that sounds bad, but it is a job that does still need to be done, because we only have like 1 or 2 people doing that. But there's also another job that doesn't require being that attentive, and I feel like that would work for him. But if you were to bring that up to him, he'd be like, no, I don't want to do it, because he sees that as, oh, I'm not doing my job, which he knows he's not, but he doesn't want you to win. Call me Curtis. Hello! I like to watch while I shiny hunt. Oh, you're shiny hunting. Which Pokemon game are you playing? I think you mentioned it last time. I think you said Heart Gold, Soul Silver, yeah? Or did you? Or am I remembering wrong? Nice to see you. Hope your day's going well. Feels nice. Feels nice. I like I like that you guys can like listen to me and watch me play whatever as you do your own thing, because that's something I like when I'm listening to other people's streams as well. I guess I can go ahead and say it. I watch Vinesauce a lot, so I like to have that on in the background, and honestly, the longer the video, the better for me. Doing multiple right now, hunting Darkrai in BDSP. Okay. Nice. Hopefully it doesn't take forever. I don't think watching videos would help me to sleep. No, watching the videos won't help you sleep. I listen to them in the background. Well, okay. I have some sort of noise going on in the background, but it's at like a low volume. For some reason, and I've done this for a while, I used to listen to music at a low volume to go to sleep, but I realized my mind would stay conscious. So when I wake up, I would feel more tired. So I couldn't listen to music while going to sleep. Rhythm will keep me up, funnily enough. But if it's something like listening to people talking in the background, like having a conversation, especially if it's like a nice little tone, soothing tone, then I'll go right to sleep. And everything will be fine. Sometimes I may even dream, which is great because I don't dream very often. That lets me know that I've had a good sleep and a good long sleep as well. Because I probably get about 5 hours of sleep, which I know I need. I need at least 8 to not feel cruddy, I guess. I do drink 1 cup of coffee a day. Nothing more, but nothing less either. Or no more, no less, rather. It does keep me awake. I like the taste. I'm a fan of like mocha or hazelnut. But I definitely need caffeine, it seems. The 2 things I'm addicted to, coffee and trolley worms or fruit snacks. I do the same thing. I've been listening to British people when I sleep, like Carl Pilkington or Did You Know Gaming for like 2 years now. Yeah, exactly. Heck, Vinny Vinesauce was the one who even brought the Pilkington guy into radar for me. I knew nothing of the guy. He says he watches a lot of British media or listens to a lot of British media, despite being an Italian New Yorker. So that's pretty cool. I don't know why that works better. Sometimes I'll just bring up an old playlist of like 1 or 2 videos, and somehow I end up going to sleep within the first one. And it's like, that's good. I finally can fall asleep. Granted, I did used to use Pokemon Sleep. And Pokemon Sleep would tell me that I fell asleep within 45 minutes to an hour. And I always thought that was surprising because I thought it always took me an hour or so to fall asleep. But I haven't used Pokemon Sleep in a while. It's been maybe a month. I only listen to quiet music to help me fall asleep. Right. Yeah. If you can keep it at a low volume and it's something that's just in the background, I think it'll work fine. I just bought you a gift. Really, Flitwit. B12, what you doing buying me gifts for? What did I do to deserve such a thing? You're the one who deserves all the gifts from me. Still surprised you're awake though. I just hope it doesn't mess with you for your work. Yeah, I haven't used Pokemon Sleep in a while, but I like that they made it, because I remember they talked about it for so long, and they're like, oh, they're gonna have Pokemon Sleep and stuff, and I used it, and I thought it was fine. It's a good way to keep your sleep on schedule as well. But a lot of times what I do before going to bed is doing a few Japanese lessons and then going to sleep. Sometimes those lessons can keep me up because I want to study more. But sometimes I'll wake up and do lessons, I'll go to sleep doing lessons because I want to get better, you know. I haven't told you yet, but I love your new VTuber model. B12, you did good. Oh, there you go, see? There it is. Yeah, she did a fantastic job. It rivals my work, which isn't surprising. you've seen my work, guys. It's it's done in paint, but I still love it all the same. Maybe I'll take some lessons from B12 herself, and then maybe I can get better at that because I'm still new to digital art creation. I've been a pencil and paper kind of finick for a while now, so I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just scary to me because I feel like it will feel different. But if it feels like a pencil, then it feels like a pencil, you know? I prefer Mario lullabies that help me to sleep with toy Mario plush in my bed. What type of Mario lullabies are there? Or are they just a lot of Mario songs put in like a lo-fi state? Because that seems pretty cool too. I know there are a lot of YouTube videos that say like relaxing Nintendo music. Oh, it's the coin ship! I don't think I can get to it yet though. I hope it doesn't disappear. But yeah, I almost always put on a video to go to sleep to. I can't remember the last time I've turned off my computers and monitors to go to sleep. And no, I'm not afraid of the dark. Not at all. But not having some sort of ambience feels odd to me now, because I've gotten so used to it. Well, that makes me dreaming about me and Mario going to make believe Mario World. Oh, okay, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's pretty cool. I think that being able to have dreams frequently is a good thing. A lot of times people say that they don't dream very often. And usually stress can do that. But at the same time, stress can lead to nightmares as well. I used to always have recurring dreams of no matter where I went, I was forgetting something. I'm heading to bed, Access. I'll try to tune in for the next stream you stream. Okay, that's fine. Have a good one. Have a good sleep. I look forward to it. Oyasumi. So yeah, I keep I don't say I keep everything on, but I keep the video going on an old laptop that I use. I use an old laptop because it's near my bed to listen to like a YouTube video. I turned my monitor off that I'm using right now to stream to you guys. And that's really it. But if I turn everything off and I go to sleep, it's going to be really difficult for me to sleep just because I got so used to it. I wouldn't say that it's impossible because I've done it before, but I don't like doing that. So I guess you could say I need the white noise basically. I guess that's what it's called, right? White noise. And we've just grown so accustomed to that. There's so many different people streaming and making videos and stuff that the ship is running away from me. Then it's just like that. I sleep with a video and lamps on. That's right, you are moth to flame. Well, bad to flame, I guess. Yeah. So, oh, Trials of Mana? It's out? What? I didn't know Trials of Mana was out. Okay, cool. That's cool. Sorry about that. It's a series that I like. One of my favorite streamers is into Secret of Mana. And I didn't know if Trials of Mana was even a thing. Also, I did not know that the jellyfish actually had floating animation in the GBA version. I thought it just stood still. Learned something else new today. It's an RPG series that I never could get into, but it's by the makers of, I think the art style is of the Dragon Ball Z creator. Or the Dragon... what's it called? Dragon Quest creator, if I recall correctly. But I wanted to get into games like that. I feel like those games were before me though, so it's harder for me to get into, but I don't think I'd be opposed to attempting them. I don't feel like I would oppose doing any RPGs I've never played before, when I have like a chat or something to help me. Um, unless it's like an RPG that's like, I don't know, 100 plus hours. Like, I don't know, Xenoblade. And I've attempted Xenoblade 1 before. But I don't know why it didn't keep my attention. I don't see anything wrong with it. I just stopped. Maybe I had other games that I was playing at the time that made me not do it anymore or something. But I don't really have a problem with it per se. And just like that, we now have Xenoblade 3, so it's just like, well, it's kind of like trying to get into One Piece right now. I don't think it's gonna be ideal for me to do so. Unless someone can talk me into it and be like, oh no, Xenoblade is fantastic. You should totally do it because it's really good. Kind of like the Persona series or something, which I don't think I'd be able to get into either. Just because there's so much lore and stuff. But maybe that's how people feel about Fire Emblem as well, which I'll stop bagging on that, I guess. But just know that it's a series that I like. I'm really into... Somehow I'm just really into a few of the games that Intelligent Systems have put out. It just so happens that it's Intelligent Systems, because at the time I didn't even know that they did some of the other games. I knew Intelligent Systems specifically through Fire Emblem, but I didn't know that they did Paper Mario or Panel de Pon. I like Persona. I like each game. It's very self-contained. Oh, you like that each game is very self-contained. Okay, so it's not like a sequential thing. You don't have to play the other one in order to understand the lore, kind of like Kingdom Hearts. Okay, cool. I tried to do Persona Q on 3DS a long time ago, and there was so much like story before I could even move around that I gave up. I didn't know what was going on, and it just took a while. So I was like, maybe Persona's not for me as much as I want it to be. So I tried. Uh-oh. Brutality. No! Oh, mamma mia. What are some other RPGs that are maybe obscure? The rules between like Persona 4 and Persona 5 completely change, but spin-offs definitely need that investment. Okay. Gotcha. That's understandable. I wonder what ends up making games in a series being lackluster or lesser once a certain amount comes out. Do you think we just get so used to the first 2 or 3 that it makes the rest of the games in the series feel like plastic copy paste or something, even though the whole purpose of it being a series is that there is consistency? Because no matter what there is, it seems like people will always go, okay, first game's good, second game may be iffy, third game was okay, fourth game is bad, or something like that. You know what I mean? It feels consistent in that regard. I guess people start seeing it as like cash grabs or something. Persona 5 is so good. Okay. I've heard that it's good, yeah. And it's only been from hearing from like other streamers and VTubers and stuff saying, you know, oh, they're like Persona 5. But like I said, I don't know much about it. I've seen people streaming some of the stuff and I'm just like, I don't want to delve into it just because I don't know what's going on, and maybe I'll attempt or something. But it's more like I'm not gonna understand. And usually I'll watch streamers for their voice, for what they say, and like the Zatsudans or the free talks that they do. But when it comes to something like Persona, it's a little different for me, for some reason. Some RPGs I've tried was Dragon Quest V, and The World Ends With You, but Dragon Quest XI is hard to get through for me. The music, the combat are so good. Okay. Dragon Quest XI. I want to actually play a Dragon Quest game on stream. I just don't know what. I don't know what. I have no idea. But I really would like to. I've only played a few of them. I played a DS one, a long time ago. I played the Wii one, but we don't talk about that one just because it's not really all that. I mean, it's Dragon Quest by name and its assets, but it's not Dragon Quest in terms of, you know, adventuring. But I guess I've only played through one Dragon Quest game. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Called Dragon Quest VI Realms of Revelation. That's the one I played through. I enjoyed that one though. Okay. Just want to join our... What does this say? GC? No. No, I'm good. I appreciate the offer. But that's the one I played through. That's the only one I played through. For DS. It's all good though. Straight garbage? That's not straight garbage. I even politely declined. How dare you? Don't you insult me. I'll knock you in the gaba, swell me mum. I know there was one that had come out for 3DS a long time ago. I think there was another one that came out for DS as well. But I'm not sure what it's called. Surely, I know you do. I know you do. Who doesn't want to kiss a piranha plant, right? But like... Or a plant finnick, I guess. I don't know what it is. I just really like RPGs. What is it about RPGs? I think it's, for me, I think it's the leveling. It feels like a sense of accomplishment when you're able to level up. And if you go by like the old means, like if you were like creating an RPG in RPG Maker or something, that was probably the weirdest way to say that. When you're creating something in RPG Maker or something like that, where you have it where the characters have a level up system and you're learning new spells and skills when you hit certain levels. You know, like Pokemon. But whenever you hit that, it's like, oh, okay, they learned this at this. And it's like Final Fantasy 1 or something for the NES or GBA or something. It's like, okay, they learned this at this level, they can now use this. And so you're like, okay, it makes you want to level more and do more and grind and fight monsters and stuff. And then you get into like the, I don't know, the world politics and all that stuff, and the evildoer who is putting the place into ruin and how you must stop them from the evil, or from you know, destroying the land and stuff. Waking the dragon of 1,000,000 years, because dragons can never be killed. They can only be put to sleep or something like that. So you hit them with a needle to tranquilize them for 1,000 years, until they wake up again, and new heroes have to set forth in order to vanquish them yet again. But once again, they don't die or anything. They have to be put to sleep for another 1,000, 5,000 years or so. So dragons never die, I guess. They just go insane from old age, and you have to put them back to sleep, Grandpa. And stuff like that. The progression definitely is a selling point. Better stats, armor, etc. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like what you would consider dopamine hit, I guess. Big numbers go up, so it makes you want to keep going. That sense of progression. until you reach like a boss that I guess scales with you. Then it's like, what the heck? Why is that happening? That shouldn't be happening. I should be like leagues above this boss. Why is this happening? Type of situation. And it's like, oh, there's nothing you can do because it's scripted. I see, I see. Or something like that. Seems like it's very easy to tell a story based in medieval times, though, all things considered. I like the sense of growing and learning in an RPG. Yeah, because you grow attached to the characters who are also growing attached in their world. So they're like growing and you're growing with them as well. So you then feel like you are a part of the RPG, which is probably one of the reasons why you end up creating characters now in a lot of RPGs where like you are a part of it. You don't necessarily have to be the main like character per se, but since you are going to be interacted with and whatnot, they just say, hey, you can name the main character even though the main character does have a name or something like that. Has a default name and stuff. Which is really cool. And I know that a lot of people are like divided on that. It's like, oh, I mean, this is my story. I'm just there, like, watching the story unfold or something like that. But it's still fun all the same. I used to delve into RPG Maker a long time ago. RPG Maker like 2005. RPG Maker XP. I'm showing my age, guys. Oh my. Oh no, anyway. It was fun at the time. But I wasn't the most creative. I tried to be. But I just remember that progression stuff with the levels equaling learning different skills and stuff. And trying to figure out how to make this move, that move. Like, what's it called? Having one event trigger another and all that type of stuff. I'm no programmer, but I don't doubt that I could be. But I'd rather just focus on what I'm doing now, make the money from the job that I'm at, be able to talk to you guys while I stream, and pursue in learning Japanese still. まだ勉強しています. For me at the moment though, it's just me getting used to sentence structure. Because the biggest thing, if anyone's ever tried learning Japanese, I don't know if anyone here has, but if anyone has tried learning Japanese, the hardest thing about it, being an English speaker, is learning wa, ka, well, wa and ga and wo. Mostly ga and wa, because these are used to, it's kind of like it determines like direct object, indirect object, the topic and all that type of stuff. So a lot of times when people say watashi wa, you would normally just say, oh, that means I, but watashi wa is basically as for me, or like kyo wa, today, as for today. So it's like, as for today, I am well. Kyo wa genki desu, or something like that. And yes, they're verbs at the end of sentences. So. But then you have things like ga, where it's like you say, neko ga arimasu, which means like the cat is here, or a cat is here. Ga, I think, is supposed to be used for when you're introducing new information to someone. Like, it's like you would say, oh, there's a cat here? I didn't know that. Or you're like, in this room, there is a cat. So it's like, kono heya ga, or kono heya wa, as for in this room, there is a cat. So kono heya wa, neko ga arimasu. So the ga comes after neko, because neko is the one, is the new thing being introduced. Or something like that. Sentence structure is the thing that I love. Once I understand that, it's a little bit easier for me, but like I said, it's still a difficult language to learn because, I mean, it's like when other people try to learn English. You know, it can be difficult because you learn one rule and then the rule doesn't apply to the next sentence. It's like, well, what gives? The whole purpose of trying to learn the language is so that you can understand and be able to communicate, right? But if everything changes every sentence, every second, how are you supposed to learn? And the answer to that really is exposure. That's literally it. That's all you can really, I mean, you can study in a book all day, every day. But quite honestly, many people even on YouTube will tell you textbooks aren't going to teach you what you need to know. It'll give you the basis of the words and stuff. But you have to be around locals because otherwise you'll end up speaking in Old English. In fact, you guys probably know, just from me speaking, that I don't speak like a Zoomer. Because, funnily enough, even when I was learning in school, I didn't speak like a common millennial or whatever. Because for some reason I got so into learning the language that everything seemed, to most people, it would seem like I was proper. Which I was not proper by any means. I guess proper to them because they didn't speak the way that I did. So I used to always say, why is it that this person is always using subject-verb disagreement? Why are people always saying, what is you doing? And I'm like, why is that a thing? That doesn't sound right at all. That's not how it's supposed to be. What is you doing is not, well, it's definitely not proper English. And it's not, like, it's not grammatically correct. So why is it everyone says it? So as I grew up, I learned that the reason why people speak this way is because people in their households also speak this way. And where do you normally learn a language the longest or the most, or most common? In the household, right? In your family, right? So even if you speak English and your folks speak English, and you're learning English and language arts at school, oh, got it. Then you're learning that mostly from your family members. And that's how you end up speaking. Granted, it's still subject-verb disagreement though, no matter how you look at that. You could say it's a different dialect, sure, but it's not grammatically correct. That is incorrect. Okay. And I grew up with that for a long period of time. I was like, why does everyone say this? I was growing up. I was like, you know, really, really young. And I'm like, why do people keep saying it like this? Is it supposed to be cute? What's cute about this? I don't get it. My age, by the way. And I'm just confused about it. And then I used to say, darn, it seems like people who are learning English end up speaking English better than the locals. Once again, I learned later that what you learn in school is different from going out and actually speaking to people. The greatest analogy is you can read all about how a bike works, how to ride a bike, what is used to create a bike, the best thing to do when riding a bike, how to be safe on one. But until you actually get on a bike and ride it, you will not understand. Yeah, English is my first language. I'm just saying in general. It's literally the only language I know. I'm just saying that the way that I speak, don't you notice that I don't sound like a Zoomer? That I sound like I either enunciate a little too much, or that I sound like I could be like an English teacher maybe. It's because that's how I latched on to English. But it is, yes, I am a native English speaker. It is the only language that I actually know. Despite what my accent may sound like, which I am curious as to what my accent sounds like. But what was the other thing? Oh, the analogy was the bike. Fair enough, slang is kind of garbage in my opinion. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, slang was a different concept to me. Slang was what was confusing me until I learned, oh, you know, I mean, the common stuff like, hi, how's it going? It ends up being like, you know, what's up? You know, what it do or whatever, or like, how goes it? you know, many different ways to say hello or greetings, but you learn that that's what that means. There's no hide or hair of that. That's still hello, regardless. But when you say enough slang, it ends up turning into like the Cockney British, like American equivalent or something to that. And I feel like when you already know the language, that's probably going to end up being that way anyway. For example, Zoomer speak will end up becoming millennial speak. And so then what ends up coming after that will end up being the new Zoomer speak. And the Zoomers of then will become like the millennials of now, or like Zoomers of now will become the millennials of then. Wait, that's backwards. How do I want to put this? The Zoomers of now will end up becoming the millennials of later. And the Zoomers of later will end up having their own slang to where you won't understand it and you will think it's garbage as well. Because you're like, you can't keep up. It seems like every word is different now. Everything means something different now. That's basically what happens. And that's how dialects happen, basically. That was basically something I had to learn and realize that no, this isn't stupid. That isn't stupid. This is just how people are. This is how they speak. We come up with all sorts of things that end up being memey or funny, and then it ends up becoming unironic. And that's just how it is. You probably don't know anyone that speaks Old English. And I don't either. I don't speak it. It would probably be hard for me to learn, and why would I, right? But the way that I speak basically would end up being Old English to many people because they wouldn't understand what I'm saying because of how I'm saying it, right? I only know English words, but I don't like slang either. I prefer nice and friendly words. Right. Yeah. It's easier to understand. It doesn't necessarily make you bad, but it helps to know the difference between proper and improper, casual and polite and whatnot. Casual and informal, or informal rather. When you go to an interview, you know, hello, how are you? I'm fine, you know. I wanted to apply to this job because I'm looking for a better environment and a better salary. As opposed to, oh hey, what's up, manager? Yeah, I'm here because I want money. It's a difference, you know. And it's stuff like that in Japanese too. They have like 5 different ways of saying things. Some are formal, some are informal, some are casual. Some are casual informal, some are casual formal, and you have to get used to that as well. Sometimes people in Japanese, it's like if you're too polite, it feels like you're ostracizing your friends. So if you speak too politely to your friends, then it feels like you're not really friends because you feel like you're not as close to your friend anymore. Me at an interview, howdy do? How about a jobaru? Yeah. One of the jokes or something I remember watching when I was looking at some Hololive stuff was I remember hopefully no one like cans me or anything because I am a Hololive enjoyer. But I remember Callie was like teaching Japanese people, you know, how to speak some English and whatnot, and she would also use slang, casual slang and whatnot too, which I feel like some of it is also somewhat Zoomer-ish as well, but I digress on that, it's okay. But she would say, you know, do not use this casual with your boss. And then some would playfully say, oh, so you wouldn't say what's up to Yago? And it's like, because Yago's like the manager. He's like, no, do not say sup Yago. And I thought that was really funny. And it's like, yeah, to people you don't know, or when you're in like a, you know, going to a job or something, you don't really want to be that casual. I guess when you know the language well enough, you know what feels casual and what feels proper. I don't think saying how's it going to your boss is bad. I'm not gonna hear too many people saying greetings how goes it anymore. But I don't recommend saying sup boss. Basically. So you're probably wondering, well, how do you know? By listening. It's literally just learning. That's what makes language so difficult and funny. There's the speaking bit, there's the writing bit, and there's the listening bit. You can listen all day and feel like you understand the person that you're talking to, but you may not know how to respond. You could write a paper in your target language that you're learning just fine, but you still may not be able to speak it well. Isn't that weird how that works? You would think that if you're able to write it just fine, then you know what you're trying to convey, right? But for some reason, the words don't come to you when you speak, because you are normally trying to... What happens is the target language that you are focusing on, you're trying to say what you want to say, but you're not saying it the way that a local person would say it. Instead, you're trying to translate what you want to say to them in their language from your native language, which doesn't translate in that way. For example, saying what's up. What's up just means hello. But you wouldn't translate what's up as nani o ue, which literally means what is up in the sense of what is in the up direction. You wouldn't say that. This is where knowing the formal works out, because you wouldn't, like I said, you wouldn't say nani o ue. You would say, like konnichiwa or konbanwa or ohayou gozaimasu, which means hello during that time of day, morning, evening, or afternoon. They would be confused. I would be confused, but I would get it because I made that, I made that understanding or whatever, or that analogy. Same thing happens in your target language that you were your secondary or third language that you're trying to learn. So instead of thinking, oh, I want to convey this, I want to translate it this way. You want to look up, you could say, how would I say this in this language? And they're not going to give you a literal translation. They're going to give you what would be as close to that expression as possible. Being multilingual is nuts to me because I think, like, translating it in your head, which I know it doesn't really work that way because I know a bit of German, but I like to think about it sometimes. Right. Now, the thing about that, too, is Germanic languages, you'll notice that there's some... to this day, I don't really know well, I guess the English word would be cognate. But since I learned a little, like, the tiniest bit of Spanish in, like, middle school, I know that the way that cognates are said in Spanish is cognados. So anytime I refer to cognates, I always say cognados. I would say that a lot of Germanic languages have a lot of cognados. So, like, sometimes Italian and Spanish can have, and French can have some words that are somewhat close. And you would understand it because that's what it may mean, but you still may not be able to speak that language because it's that much different. But you would still understand it based on the way that it's written. And that's very common. But yeah, I think the thing that most people do, I think most people call it language switching. Because in order to speak to someone in that language, you have to make sure that you're thinking in that language. Otherwise, you just end up talking in... what's the equivalent to Indonesian Jaksel? Where they end up using English and Indonesian interchangeably, which I've heard a few times. If you know anything about Hololive, if you ever listened to Pavolia Rene, sometimes she would do that. That's sometimes a thing that she would like unironically do because people in her chat would say something about it. That's where I learned what that is. I know nothing else about Indonesian, so, But, and that's why I think learning like watching different streams and stuff actually helps. You get a little bit of nuggets of information from different walks of life as well. English specifically stole a lot from German and vice versa. I agree with that. I think that's true because they always say that, you know, English isn't really a language of itself. It turned into its own thing based on dialect. So it's kind of hard to say that these are English words unless you mean like Queen's English, because I know American itself is already a dialect on its own from British English, much like Australian English is different from the Queen's English as well. So there are always dialects to the main source. So you may speak English, but it would be American English or Australian English, which means that it sounds different. A lot of slang is different, and I guess the flow would be different as well. That's why you a lot of times will hear, oh, I can tell that this person is Australian, even though they're speaking English that I am, because of their accent or how they say a specific word, right? Even if they're trying to keep their origin a secret or something. Or like how, for example, a lot of times I used to say that, yes, I have a southern accent. And then, and I'll say it, sometimes B12 would be like, bitch, where? And I would be like, what do you mean? I also grew up here, and trust me, I'm older than you are by a little bit. I grew up in the same place that you did. I can promise you that I am also Southern or whatever, or that I grew up Southern and whatnot. But I come to realize that my Southern accent isn't nearly as strong as most people's are. So if you guys have, and a lot of times I don't say y'all much either. I say you guys or your and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons why you never really hear that, because I don't really say y'all like that. But obviously, if you listen to B12 and Dread, they sound way more Southern than I do, and that you would think that we're from totally different places. But we are actually local, funnily enough. We may not have grown up in the same household, but we are local. And our accents are different. But I think it's also because I focused a lot on trying to fix that, because if you ever watch like an old cartoon or just an old show, a lot of times they will choose a certain accent or dialect to quote unquote pick on or use as satire. So a lot of times people will think, oh, okay, Southern is like Texan. Howdy, y'all. How's it going? You know, Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob in English. Well, howdy, y'all. How's it going? Howdy there, partner. You know, stuff like that. And that's actually hard for me to do, funnily enough, because I just didn't speak this way. But I have still grown up in the area. Not Texas, though. Not Texas. I can say not Texas. But, there are many different Southern accents and whatnot, but Texan is the one that is usually used a lot of times to get the point across. It's either like Texan or New Orleans, I guess. Louisiana-ish or whatever. So it's very interesting. It's interesting how a language can change based on the slang that you may use, and then with that slang comes the accent or twang that is used with those words to turn it into, I won't say a different language, but I will say a different dialect. And if it's changed enough, then it does turn into a different language. For example, I was using Duolingo. I was using Duolingo the other day, and I saw in one of the notifications that Spanglish has become a thing, and they call it Spanglish. I was like, really? They call it Spanglish? And apparently, I mean, it's been a thing apparently, but I had never heard it called that, and I can only assume that it's a combination of Spanish and English, which would be, like I said, like the Indonesian Jaksel or whatever. But I think a lot of languages end up mixing English with their native language. Korean does it, I think. Apparently they count more in English, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I still need to study more on Korean because I haven't studied much in Korean. But since English is supposed to be the secondary language that you're supposed to learn, I guess that's probably one of the reasons why. Because I've also noticed that when learning Japanese, there are a lot of words that Japanese people are using these days that are closer to English. When I know that, I think I mentioned this before, I can't remember. Where they have a word for kitchen. It's daidokoro. Daidokoro. But sometimes they'll just use kichin now for kitchen. And it's like, but you have a word for kitchen. It's daidokoro. You don't have to, actually do that. And that's just one of the many different words that's used. There's plenty. There's plenty. Like cooking, like that's a thing. But it's ryori, like ryori is cooking or something like that. Ryori shimasu or something like that. Milk tea, hot dog. Yes, exactly. 100%. Milk tea. You would think milk tea would be like gyunu ocha, which is something that Aaron from Game Grumps has said many years ago. But it's actually miruku-chi. Miruku-chi. And they do have a word for tea. It's ocha. Ocha and the word for milk. Gyunu. But they say miruku-chi specifically for milk tea. Interestingly enough. Maybe it's easier that way. Maybe it's easier that way. I'm not sure. But yeah, certain words, they just do that. I'm not sure why. I'm not living there, so I can't just say, why are you doing this? You can't do that. It's not my language to say that to. I'm not a native, so I can't say that. Much like I can't be like, oh, you can't put the word ain't in the dictionary. It's been in there for years, by the way. You can't put that word in the dictionary. That's slang. Well, guess what? It's there, so don't get angry about it. Because language changes almost every, I don't know, month, I guess. What you see in memes. Meme speak becomes real speak. Can I has cheeseburger? That's old as well. That was something with like cat memes. Showing my age once again, but I'm just letting you know. Can I has cheeseburger was a thing for a long period of time. During the troll face days. I'll even tell you 2010. Yes, I'm old. I guess. I don't know. So that was a thing for a while. Just speaking English wrong on purpose because it's cutesy cat language, I guess. That was a thing. I don't know why. And it's not my place to say that it's not, or to say that this is wrong. It's just weird. People are gonna cute, I guess. Because I guess speaking wrong is cute. I really have no idea. Maybe it's to be like, well, cats don't speak human language, so they wouldn't say it right anyway. Maybe that's why. Man, I used to browse I can has cheese. Oh, see? Yeah, I can has cheeseburger. Yeah, see, you know. Like, that was a thing for a while. And I was like, why? A few of my friends were really into that stuff. And I'm just like, why is this a thing? You know the llama song? Are you talking about... Oh, shoot. Is that the one where it's like the... Big fat mama llama something camel black or whatever? You mean that? If you're referring to that, then yeah, I remember growing up with that in school. Kids are crazy. Maybe we're around the same age, who knows? I don't know. Yes, okay, so that is the one. Yeah, it's like baby mama, daddy mama, big fat mama llama, something or other. Yeah. Llama duck. Yeah. Quack or something. Yeah. That's what it was. Something like that. Yeah. It's funny how it's funny what we come up with, It's very weird, but it's funny at the time. So It's funny how these come up. It's funny how viral they become, and then they become unironic, you know? It just becomes a thing then. Law So Random, yeah. Law So Random becomes, man, I'm old. What has happened to me? God, I let myself go. What has happened? Why did this happen to me? Sort of situation. Or you just, you just have fun with it. Because as life goes on, things change. And there's really nothing wrong with it as long as it's not negative. Old people aren't gonna rule the world. People become older. And wiser. But you don't have to become bitter, I think the whole purpose back in the day was have the kids teach the kids. Have it where they live a better life than you did. And hope that they strive. And then the kids take care of their parents or grandparents because they took care of them. It's the least that they can do, stuff like that. That's the moral, basically. And some people are like, oh, no, I know how this generation is going. You might as well put me in a nursing home. And it's like, well, okay. But, I can't say that they're wrong. Because it is like that sometimes. But, especially if you see that your kids are like, oh, man, they're not cleaning up after themselves. They don't know how to say hello. They can't greet anyone at the door. They walk into a room and don't say anything to anyone. People don't call people on their birthdays anymore. They just text them. Stuff like that. And these are things that I hear from my own mother sometimes. And I'm just like, just because it's like that now doesn't mean that it's bad, per se. There's a thing that she used to tell me where, with her parents, a thing that her parents used to do was wash walls. It was just a chore that they did. They would wash the walls because they would get dirty, But since my mom has grown older rather, has become an adult, a parent, washing walls was not a thing, like, in the household. So as you grow older, as you have more children, there are less and less things that you end up doing in terms of those chores. So you're probably never going to see that sort of thing. Unless it's like a service where you like call someone to come and wash your walls or something. I don't know. Hey, it's Donkey Kong Jr. So, people like to say that as the generations continue, they become lazier. They become smarter, sure. More intelligent, I guess, through more tech savvy, that's the word. They become more tech savvy, but they become lazier as well. Sometimes that can't be helped, Shogun I not, but sometimes it can. But are you really going to teach your great-grandchildren what your great-grandparents did? Think about that for a second. Just think about it. Are you going to teach your great-grandkids what your great-grandparents taught you? That's like, what, 4, 5, 6 generations? Things have changed by then. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. Things aren't the same as they used to be. So certain things you don't have to worry about anymore as much. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. So like I said, as I've grown older, I've learned that the way that people speak isn't necessarily bad because it takes more than one person to speak this way. No one's just going to come up with their own language and speak this way to themselves. It has to be it takes two to tango, It's going to take more than one person. It's going to take a group for something like that to actually kick off and become its own thing. And once again, you don't necessarily have to agree with it because you could see it as like, oh, well, this is just informal English. It's just slang. It very well may be. But if it's turned into a thing because there's enough slang for it to become a different language, then guess what? It is now a different language. That's how languages work. All languages are made up, after all. It's a way that we communicate with other people. Yay. These are the things that I think about through life as I go on. Depends. Sometimes I pick up new mannerisms to see if my friends pick it up. Yeah. Hive mind stuff. That's how memes begin. That's how memes are. It could be something that you just thought of one night. Something that could turn into something funny. And then it spreads to from your friends, group of 10 people, 15 people. You upload it onto like a site, different people end up posting it, and then it starts, starts spreading. And then it becomes a meme. And then that meme becomes known in your region or your country. And then it may end up spreading to a different one if they're learning that language or something like that. It's like if I were to, for example, I learned of a Japanese meme. I don't know how it became one. Once again, I'm not Japanese. I'm not a native speaker. But just from searching on the internet and also from looking at some HoloLive stuff, I've seen a song called how would I say this in English? It's just called like, I'll just say wind, like strong wind all back. It's Kyofu no Orubaku. A few HoloLive members have done it. But it's a Japanese meme. I've been seeing it all over YouTube in all sorts of different forms. And I can't sing, but it's like Sotoretta shunkan owatta wa tenki wa ii no ni susumenai kaze sugite onakunari deki ni orubaku or something like that. And it's the girl with the recorder. The wind is blowing her back and she's playing the recorder. So that's like a Japanese meme that I ended up picking up on because of that. And I started searching it and it's all over the place in Japanese. Like, it's crazy to me. And I was like, wow, I actually understand this meme somehow. And it's funny the more and more I look at it with like different people, because sometimes the words are replaced with something else of relevance to the subject matter and whatnot. So that you can learn memes from different regions and stuff with a simple click, or just from what you're seeing that becomes viral. So technology is amazing, guys. Believe it or not, the Pokemon guy is right. Technology is amazing. You can learn all sorts of things from all over the world now. Good or bad. But it's a thing that is happening. And sometimes it's fun to learn about. But congratulations, you are now in the know of a thing. And now you know of a Japanese meme because of me. How relevant is it? Not really. But you know it now. And you know that I can't sing. But, it's fine. Nintendo! That's right, Nintendo. Yeah, I've been playing this whole time. Is it weird that I've gotten to World 5 while nonchalantly speaking? Actually, that just dawned on me. I'm on World 5 now. What is happening? I'm on World 5 now and I didn't use a whistle or anything. Granted, this is like my favorite game of all time. But that just means that I can actually talk about stuff while like not focusing on the actual gameplay of the game. Granted, this isn't how it's going to be. Access calm, yeah, basically. This isn't how it's going to be when Super Mario Wonder comes out, because it's going to be a new game for me. But I think it'll be fun. I think it's going to be interesting because it's like a 2D Mario game that introduces Paper Mario stuff like the badges. What other Mario game has done something like that, right? Shh about Wonder. What do you mean shh about Wonder? It comes out in... Well, for me, it comes out in 18 days. What's up? Is there, like, bad things happening? Should I not say anything for real, or what? I'll leave it be. But I am looking forward to it, unless something bad is happening. I think it'll be a fun game though. But this is one of my all-time favorite games. So I was happy that I actually ended up completing the Famicom version of this game because it's a bit harder. With some of the levels in World 7, which, by the way, if I get to World 7, I'm skipping it. Just gonna let you know. I've already proven that I could beat it, and I did skip some things, but World 7 sucks. Jesus loves Mario! Jesus loves Mario. I wouldn't be surprised if Jesus loves Mario. I gotta head out. Good night, all. Alright, see you later, Curtis. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciated your feedback and stuff. Or, you know, talking with me. It was really nice. But I guess this is a comfort game for me. This is a game where I can actually just talk about anything. I don't have to be angry necessarily. I can just talk about what's on my mind. While playing a game that I'm like the only game that I'm good at. For the most part. Ow. As I get hit with a hammer nonchalantly. I figured it would be better for me. I figured it's better for me to actually speak when playing games like this than to do it when I'm playing like a game with a story. Because I know I'll be finishing Thousand Year Door pretty soon since I'm really close to the end. But I'd rather not do that right now. I'd rather save that for a time where either more people could watch or a better time that isn't like my 12 a.m. even though I usually do it at 2 a.m. anyway. But I think I'm gonna save that for Saturday or something. Maybe. You heard it here first. However many hours in. But back to language stuff. It's interesting that English has become, or has somehow become, the secondary language that quote-unquote needs to be learned. Because, oh, well, I'm dead. Because I don't know how that became a thing, per se. All I do know is that in order to become an airplane pilot, you must know English. That's like the only thing I do know. But I still find it interesting that English is like that secondary that you need to learn. But here I am trying to learn Japanese, and I'd love to be a linguist, but I don't know the steps I would need to take other than learn languages, you know? And I have to spend hours on end, at least 8 hours or so, like, you know, an amount of sleeping. A sleeping amount of hours to learn languages and stuff. And I think the real thing, the real goal, or yeah, the real goal to that is to be able to confidently speak conversational language. Because, I mean, spending all day learning large words that natives aren't going to really care about isn't going to really get you anywhere other than, oh wow, you're well versed in words that I don't know. And that's about it. So it is better to pick up on how's it going expressions in other languages. Both the formal and the informal. What locals say to each other every day. Which isn't how do you do? Or, you know, greetings. I'm probably one of the few people, even in DMs with other people, I'll be like, greetings. You know, or I don't say salutations, but I say greetings for some reason. I know that whenever I'm telling someone, you know, have a good day or whatever, I'll usually say, have a good one. Which covers, you know, have a good night, have a good day, have a good evening, good morning. You can't really do that in other languages that I know of. So that screws me up a little bit when greeting people like the Japanese way. Because you need to know like what time of day it is. Because I've been to a few Japanese streams, Japanese VTuber streams. I'll accidentally say good morning because it's like 3 a.m. But you don't say good morning at 3 a.m. because the sun is down, I guess. So you would still say good evening until a certain amount of time, until a certain time of day. I think it may be 6 a.m. Maybe. I'm not sure. And I know that, you know, at like 11 a.m. you would just say Ohayo. You wouldn't say Ohayo gozaimasu because Ohayo gozaimasu is more like good early morning. And then 11 o'clock is just Ohayo. It's just like morning. The hour before afternoon. Konnichiwa. So it's not that konnichiwa means hello. It means good afternoon specifically. But you're probably going to learn from things like Duolingo and whatnot that it means hello. It technically means good afternoon. So there isn't really, it's not really a word for like hello in Japanese. It's more like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or like yahoo or whatever, or tuturu, I don't know. There's still different ways to greet people like ya. Ya is like an informal way of saying hello. And it's usually a more masculine way or tomboyish way of saying it. It means hello. But it's not something I would say to my boss. You know what I mean? Once again. So I feel like if I were to go to Japan, would I be prepared to speak? No. But I would say that I may be able to pick up on a little bit, and I may be able to respond decently enough, maybe. But I wouldn't be able to say any like long sentences, or sentences that I would perceive to be long. Sure, I could be like, "Hi, how are you? It's fine weather, isn't it?" Or, "The train sure is slow today." That's about it. Or, you know, and then I'll end up getting like Nihongo Jozu or something. And then I'll be like, well, time to learn more. So that people don't see me as this really bad speaking foreigner as I start playing bad now. That's my own fault though. I'm not too upset about it, obviously. Look how many lives I have. That wasn't the whole focus anyway. I'm just curious though, if anyone is willing to say anything at all, if anyone is still here. I am wondering if anyone is learning a different language at the moment, if they are like actively learning a different language, and how is it going for you? I'm curious about it. Because for the longest time I've approached learning Japanese wrong, and so I didn't start doing well or better until maybe a year or two ago. I kinda am. Motivational, what are you learning? I'm curious. No! I don't like this anime. I like its design, but I don't like it. That's one that'll screw you up. Big time. Spanish. Okay. Yeah, like I said, Spanish was a language that I was learning in middle school and high school. I had a better teacher in middle school than I did in high school. My high school teacher spoke Spanish, is from a Spanish-speaking country, but is not a good teacher. So you can have someone speak a language well, or, you know, do something well, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they will be a great teacher. And I felt bad for the teacher because she was a nice person. Darn it. But she did not teach well. Sadly. Or unfortunately, rather. The only thing I remember from Spanish is I like to eat, I like to drink. Insert type of food or drink here. Me gusta beber, me gusta beber, juego no uva. Not no. Why'd I say no? Juego de uva. I like to drink, grape juice. Why grape juice? Because, well, not why grape juice as in why do I like grape juice, but why grape juice because it was an extra credit thing that I learned in Spanish as well. They were like, alright, tell me like 2 drinks that you like to drink, and then add a third one as a bonus. So there was the apple juice, orange juice, you know, juego de manzana, or manzana, juego de naranja, and then juego de uva. Uva was the next one I could think of. I couldn't think of anything else, because, I mean, I don't think there's a such thing as watermelon juice. So I was like, okay, grape juice. Juego de uva. And then there's like, you know, me gusta comer, la carne. I forget what, I think it's just meat, but I don't remember specifically what meat. But I do, that's basically the extent to my Spanish, which means I can't speak it at all. These guys are so cute. Bear beetles are so cute. Carne, yeah. So most of the time when people are like, hi, yes, I am a Spanish speaker, I'm like, oh, hi, I don't speak Spanish well, lo siento. Oh, carne is meat. Okay, so it is specifically meat. Yes, okay. I didn't know if it was like a specific type of meat or if it was just meat. And then I remember like fish is pescado. I think watermelon is just straight up melon de agua. And like cantaloupe is just melon. Kind of like in Japanese. What else? Like I said, I don't know much, so I don't know any conversational Spanish like at all. Sadly. So that's what I mean when I say learning language wrong. Because yeah, they give you vocabulary and stuff, and they say like, okay, you learn how to say I like to eat, I like to drink. And yes, they'll say, you know, like que fecha es, you know, what is the date? And stuff like that. So that's useful too. But it was mostly I like to eat, I like to drink. This was middle school though. But I still learned the extent of my Spanish in middle school compared to high school. So I really liked my middle school teacher. But you will learn that, I mean, it will get easier. I feel like Spanish is much easier to learn than French, but that's my opinion. Mostly because with the vowels, what you see is what you say. I never understood how French goes about it, but I've heard from a French speaker that even French people don't like speaking French. I was like, huh? What does that mean? What do you mean by this? I don't understand. What do you mean even French people don't like speaking French? That doesn't make sense to me. It's like if I said English people don't like speaking English. I don't understand. I don't know. I have plenty of items, why not? It's not the hardest level in the world, but I don't care. I'm just talking anyway. I say go forth with your studies though, and don't give up, because it will get you somewhere, I promise you. And it ends up being fun as you have a better understanding of it. Trust me on that. Unless you end up hitting a point where you're like, man, why am I learning this anyway? What's the point of me learning this? It's not like I'm gonna meet any Spanish friends or anything, which you more than likely will. There are plenty of Spanish speakers compared to like French when it comes to, if you live in the US or something, there are probably more Spanish speakers than French speakers. Well, there is no probably. You know what? I can bet money on that. There are more Spanish speakers in the States than there are French speakers. But those are the two languages that we were offered in my schools. French and Spanish. Not German, not Russian, not Japanese, not Korean. Or Latin. And they were like, you should probably learn this to add to your credit for your diploma or something. But, nope. I didn't use much of my Spanish. Lost most of it. The only thing that carried over was the vowels for Japanese because they're the same. Ah! And knowing that double L is pronounced like a Y. And I can somewhat roll my R's. That's about it. And of course the N with a tilde on it is pronounced like a Y. That's really it. That's all I know. And you're probably like, well, Excess, why don't you just learn... Just go back to learning Spanish then. If you're having a hard time learning Japanese... Despite, I mean, I'm sure you're learning Japanese, but if you're having a hard time learning Japanese... And you have somewhat of an understanding of, like, Spanish, why not go back and learn Spanish? Thing is, you have a point. Said no one ever. And I could. Because I can still use Duolingo for that as well. And I think I would actually understand a lot more than I think that I don't know. Me encanta escuchar. Eso es porque usted juega videojuegos. I love listening to Excess because I play video games. Hey, I did it! Yeah! That made me feel nice. Okay, cool. See, that's what I mean when I say understanding something, reading something, and being able to respond. I actually understood that. Wow. Granted, you are, speaking in basic Spanish, but I did say that I barely know any. So, that makes me feel happy. That's awesome. Also, great work. I don't know how that would sound to a native speaker. Maybe a native speaker would say, use this instead of that, use this instead of that. But that's not like a bad thing, because that lets me know that you have the vocabulario, I probably know as much as you. No, that's a bad thing. You should definitely know more than I do. For example, I see the word después a lot, and I don't know what that means. I do not remember what después is. I believe that the verb after the feeling gets changed. Yeah, I think so. One of the things I do remember is that when it comes to like yo soy and tú eres, is that you drop the yo and tú, because when you say soy and eres, you already know it's going to be yo or tú, which is like kind of like the equivalent in Japanese, where you don't say watashi wa because you already know that you're not talking about you. I believe huege is like huga. Okay. Yeah, I think so. It's something weird. Yeah. It depends on if it's like Spain Spanish or non-Spain Spanish, or Ecuadorian or something. I don't know. Just depending on where. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. Verbs change after feelings. Right. And of course, there's masculine, feminine. Masculine, feminine as well. Especially with Germanic languages that aren't English. I don't think we have anything. We don't have masculine, feminine words in English, do we? Other than saying like someone's a guy or a girl, right? Do we? Well, you know what? I'll take that back. We do. Actor and actress. Technically. Right? But technically anyone could be an actor. So, I mean, I guess that works. Like, tailor and seamstress. Guy, gal. Yeah. So I guess it's more like those like that. It's usually like nouns. That you would associate with. But that's about it that I can tell. We don't have like verbs that I can think of. You may have like an adjective that typically women use as opposed to typically men use. Like for example, almost everyone says tasty, but I think mostly women say yummy, if that makes any sense. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I have noticed. Stuff like that. And that works in other languages too. A lot of something that's considered feminine in Japanese is when you end words in, or you end a vowel with wa. Like, o genki desu wa. Or genki desu wa. And that's why you have that desu wa trope. And it's supposed to be like a feminine female. I don't know how to explain it really, but like they're, you know that they're a woman, basically. Or very overly effeminate, I guess. I don't know. That's basically what that means. Just like how they say that using the pronoun boku refers to male or tomboy. And atashi is female specific or effeminate, stuff like that. For example, or watashi. So, Bo, the character Bo in Mario Story, Paper Mario 64, the way that she speaks, she literally speaks like an ojo-sama, like a princess. And she does use watashi as opposed to watashi or atashi. She uses watashi or no, I take that back. She uses atashi, which is like royal, posh, a way of speaking. Not very many people use atashi, so I found that to be interesting. It's one of the few characters that I know of in video games. It's saying a lot considering that I don't play that many video games in Japanese, but it's something I picked up on, and she uses atashi, and she is an ojo-sama. So, so it's kind of cool. I love learning language things. I love refrigerators. Anyway, I love that meme too much. I don't know why. I hope I'm not keeping you guys up too much though, in the regions that you are in. As you can see by my time up top, it is 1 a.m. For me, so. But, and of course there will always be a VOD. Unless YouTube kills my channel, for what reason. Grassy Sandy Fennec spreads propaganda. Channel terminated for being too real or something, I don't know. But I like I said, I have a lot to say when I'm given the opportunity to say. Don't die, I'm dead. That's the worst spot. I watched a streamer do this part for a very long time, and I was like, yeah, this is probably one of the hardest levels in the game. More power to you. But I don't think she had played the game before, so it was already going to be difficult anyway, but she made it that far. And yes, she was playing on NSO, so she was able to rewind and stuff, but she still committed to a lot of it without rewinding, so, you know. But, darn, motivational. Now you've given me the motivation for real, to actually go back to learning Spanish. I think I will. I've been wanting to go back to it. I've just been focusing so much on Japanese. I was gonna say earlier that, yeah, you get the vocabulary and stuff, but, like, a lot of times you don't end up, learning how to use the vocabulary. That's where sentence structure comes in. You still need to know how to form, like, where to put the words. And when you have languages that have particles, you need to know where to put those particles. Just like people learning English have a hard time understanding how to use a, and the. It's the same equivalent to Japanese when learning Japanese, knowing how to use wa, ga, and wo most of the time. Same difference for the most part. And I trip up on wa and ga so much that I had to learn just based on expression itself when to use ga and ni and de and to. Some of them are easier than others. But sometimes based on the verb that you use, you would say ni or et. So that's interesting. Sometimes, in fact, I even learned to like, apparently using transitive form of a verb usually means that you're going to end up using got before it. So I was like, okay, well that's good to know. So if I use it in the, anytime I use in transitive form, it's always going to be like got, like neko ga aru. I mean, I keep using neko ga, but like iru and aru are going to use ga anyway because it's referring to, how do I explain this? Aru and iru refer to existence. So if you hear neko ga ari, or it wouldn't be neko ga arimasu, it would be neko ga irimasu, because irimasu refers to darn it, Roy. Refers to living things, and arimasu refers to non-living things. So you would say like hon ga arimasu. The book exists, or here is a book. But you would say neko ga imasu. The cat is like, the cat exists. Or something like that. Or if I were to say, I'm going to drink water. The formal way of saying it, or the text, like the dictionary way of saying it would be mizu o nomimasu. And sometimes you would say mizu o nomu instead for the non-dictionary form. And I'm not sure if you would say mizu ga nomu, because I don't know if that makes sense. But a lot of times when you use wo, it means that's the direct object. And it usually does refer to, not always, but it usually does refer to inanimate objects. Like I would say, dropping watashi wa, but if I were to say watashi wa, it'd be like, watashi wa hon o yomimasu. I am going to read the book. But you would drop watashi wa and just be like, talking to someone, because the context, you would just say, hon o yomimasu, or hon o yondeimasu. I am reading a book. And you would do the same thing in Spanish with like dropping yo with yo soy and just saying soy. Soy es what is it? I don't know how to say read in Spanish, but I know that book is el libro. So, but I don't remember how to say read. Heck, I don't even remember how to say have in Spanish. So, yeah, I gotta get back to that for sure. 100%. I feel like I could be a teacher though, because being able to give information like this feels nice, despite me not necessarily having all of the info that I need, but being able to share what I know feels nice. And I wish that if I was wrong, that people would tell me so that I would learn more. That's a goal. So one day I probably will end up doing like a Japanese Duolingo stream or something, and maybe see if Japanese speakers will come in and try to tell me anything, and hopefully I'll be able to read some of the Japanese in chat. Probably not though, but hopefully so. I'd probably have to put a disclaimer of please use like simple kanji or whatever. But then simple kanji to me, I mean, they would think some would be simple, and I would think that some of it I had never seen, you know, would be complex or whatever, just because I had never seen it. And if it's a kanji I've never seen, then I have no idea of how to pronounce it. For the most part. I could probably parse what something is based on what's called some of the radicals that are used. Because there are certain radicals used for, like, if something is referencing water or something water related, or a liquid or something like that. But other than that, I know some kanji. Kanji has been something I've been like looking at the most of lately, because I haven't been listening to a lot of Japanese streams lately because I've been streaming. I have to get back to that. I have to start listening to Japanese streams at night or something so that I can get back to that. Yeah, I did it. Because if I don't do that for so long, then the timbre is going to fall. I'm not gonna know how to make the sentence flow well. It's gonna sound really bad. That's why you'll hear me say like "mizu o nomu" instead of like "mizu o nomu" or something like that. It's like "mizu o nomu," "banana kirai," stuff like that. The way that it goes up and down, I have to listen to that more because you want to sound as native as possible. Because if you don't, then you will sound foreign just from that. It's not as much as like, oh, you're using a different word. It's more like you decided to, or not decided. You're using the pitch in a weird way that most people wouldn't say, like the word procrastination. Procrastination sounds weird, right? Procrastination. Welcome back, Motivational. Welcome. Okaeri nasai. So like accent in Japanese is based on the pitch that is used, which can mean different things based on the pitch, like nose and flower, hana and hana, chopsticks and bridge, hashi and hashi. There's so much of it. And that's why kanji is needed for that when written down. I think there was a funny joke that was made. There's probably either a TikTok or a short that has gone around where someone was like, how do you say my mother's mother laughed something or whatever? And it was like, ha 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 ha, or something like that. Because different words. Because you're basically saying like, haha, the word for mother, like my mother, or my mother's mother, haha no haha. Haha no haha wa haha to iimashita, or something like that. My mother's mother said, or laughed, said haha, or laughed, or whatever. It's funny. Haha. Oh, by the way, there's a kanji that I use at the end of all of my, like whenever I start off on my starting screen, you always see a kanji at the end after an ellipsis. That kanji is the kanji for grass. The thing about that is, the kanji for grass in Japanese is used as a way of laughter. This is something if you have seen Hololive stuff, which is how I learned about it, this started from, or stemmed from, usually when Japanese people laugh online, they use the letter W, which is shorthand for the kanji wara, or warao, which means laughter. So they shorten it to the letter W. And then when you have a bunch of W's right beside each other, the W's look like grass. So then after seeing that for so long, they just started using the one kanji for grass, which is ksa, but it still means like the laughter. It's almost like code in a way. It shows how much language has changed, or adapted rather, melded into something else. And I found that to be really funny. So I just put that at the end of my witchclaw, and I just keep it there with ksa at the end of after the ellipsis, no matter what I put. Yeah, I love it. It's probably the most recognized kanji at this point, if you ever frequent stuff like that. Even if you're watching like an English Hololive stream, if a Japanese person is watching it, a lot of times they'll probably be like, I don't understand what's being said, but I'm glad to be here, or I like listening to the voice, and then they'll probably put like a W at the end for laughter, or they'll put ksa kanji. And I love it. So it's fun learning about like what goes on and stuff, or like in a different language, being able to understand something that's going on, like a next level thing that someone who lives in the place just learned of, like through, like as easily as we learn of memes that pop up like 2 days ago or something. Also, what is that Fox character at the end of streams? Oh, so the Fox character at the end of streams is Feneko. Feneko is a character from the anime Agretsuko. Feneko is one of my favorite characters based on, well, I like her design, and her attitude is funny in the show. And so what I did was, since it was one of my favorite characters, that's how I started streaming. Even at like right from the start, right at the beginning when I first started test running and stuff, I would use a Feneko image in general. And so I just used that to represent just my channel, like to be like, okay, well, this is a character or whatever. I'm a Feneko enjoyer. I like the character type of situation. So I was like, well, I don't have a face of my own yet. I was gonna think of one. I was gonna make one. And I was like, well, I'll just stick with Feneko for now. It's not like I'm going to get like big or popular anytime soon. So I use that, kind of like how someone would use like, you just have, it's like on your YouTube profiles and stuff, you just have like a character like Mario or something, or Sonic or something. But I was like, well, I really want to delve. I want people to have something to look at while I play a game or something, or whenever I get a voice, have something that moves, like with Discord or something. So I was like, okay, you know what, fine, Feneko. I've always liked the animated GIFs that I used to find, GIFs, that I would find on the internet. So I was like, okay, it's Feneko. Because, I mean, Agretsuko is also, like, mainstream. It's pretty obvious who Agretsuko is. She's the main character. And, like, I like Feneko and Haida as well. The other, like, the side characters and whatnot, who are her close friends. But I really liked Feneko's design. Reminds me of Paper Mario. Like, the simple design of the eyes and stuff and whatnot. A circle, some triangles, whatever. So I was like, alright, I'll use Feneko. So I used Feneko for a while. So I was like, okay guys, I'm going to look into making a character of my own. But the funny thing about that was, that's when I started working on Melon. So Melon was the thing that I was going to have to be my face until I realized, you know what, no, Melon should be a totally different thing. Because I wanted to make Melon a different channel specifically for its own thing. I've seen clips of the show, but I haven't watched it on my own. It's pretty decent. I can tell you, like, the gist of it is Retsuko gets stressed out, and to relieve her stress, she does heavy metal at a karaoke bar. She's like an accountant and stuff. She and her friends are accountants. and they work and stuff, and you know, just different things happen along the way. Um, but like so I made melon, and I was like, okay, but that started as an April Fool's thing. I was like, okay, April 1st is coming up. I kind of want to make a quote unquote PNG tuber thing. So I did that just for an April Fool's thing. And when I made the character, this is when B12 was like, oh wow, that's adorable, because I didn't let anyone know what I was doing, what my brain was hatching at all. So I came up with that simple design, quote unquote simple design. I was like, I want to make a, you know, whatever. But I wanted to make it after a pun. Why did I turn away? So I was like, okay, melon, cauliflower, melancholy, melancholy flower, sad flower, melancholy, cauliflower, sad cauliflower. So I was like, okay, you know, let's just do this. So I came up with a design for like a melon, but like a Japanese melon or whatever. Like when you type in :melon, it doesn't give you watermelon first. It gives you like the cantaloupe like melon type melon. And so I based it off of that. That's why you see like the stem the way it is. And then I gave him like petal ears and like a petal what's it called? Like a petal mane, and went with that. And then that just stemmed into something bigger. And I was like, you know what? I'm growing really attached to this. I think this is a good idea. I want to make this a thing. This flame is gonna kill me forever. And so I ended up doing that. And then I started making more expressions for him and stuff. And granted, it's in paint. It's in paint because it's something I slightly know how to use, because I'm not a digital artist. I sketch on paper a little bit. I used to draw much more than I do now. Maybe I'll get back into it. That'd be kind of cool, right? Maybe I could show you guys some art in my community tab at some point. But I used to draw a little bit. I used to sketch, but I'm not a digital artist. So I came up with, you know, melon and paint. Try to get as good as I did, make it close to like pixel art, since I'm bad at like actually like using paint tool Sai or Krita or whatever, because it takes a while to learn the new stuff, or a different program. Darn it. Since I used paint since I was a child, I just decided to use paint. I liked the design I made. B12 thought it was a nice design as well. She even made one in Krita at one point as well that I still have saved. But I ended up, like, we were in like proto form at the time anyway. So I mean, what you saw is what you saw, because funnily enough, the body was not fine-tuned at all. So you mostly just saw the head until I finally got that situated to how I wanted it to be. Best I can say is he kind of looked like a pastry or something. He did not look like what he should have looked like. So I got the face the way I wanted it to be, and then I started making fine tunes and stuff, and then Melancholy Flower was a thing, and I made a channel for him, and there he is, you know, streaming on his own on his channel. And well, I mean, slowly but surely things will happen, and he will have themes and stuff, and it'll be cool. And that's the thing. And then B12 was like, hang on, clearly you don't want Finico to stay your, you know, face and stuff. So she was like, how's this design look? And she just came up with something like really quick, like without any feedback from me at all at the start. Because I guess she based it off of the fact that I did like Finico, I like foxes and stuff like that. So she was just like, okay, how does this look? And I was like, oh my goodness, this looks amazing. I like this a lot. I don't know how you managed to do this just from the start. It's like an artistic genius or something. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I really like this. And she started working on it, and she doesn't take very long because she just has a good vision for things. Because after I made Melon, she made her face, her bat face, within like I want to say within an hour, and it looked amazing. And I was like, this, yeah, you are going places with this. And keep in mind, usually most artists are like, man, I don't draw animals very well, stuff like that, you know. So I guess she started delving into it a little bit more, and there it is. There she is. There she is. There I am. And then she also made Dread. Made Dread the snake, the like I like to call it, the fedora noodle. And he looks great. His initial design looked great. The secondary design looks great too. You can tell one is more stylized than the other, but they both look great. Snakes are kind of hard to draw anyway, though, but it looks fine to me. So I like her artistic vision. I can show. I mean, I'm not upset. This wouldn't be bad to do because I mean, you guys haven't seen. No one, VOD watchers also. You guys haven't seen like what the character looks like fully, but I can show that. The only thing is, I'm holding a controller, but the controller is green, which means it's transparent. I can say that much. Oh no, my immersion, my bad, whatever. No, but I can show this. Or I could just show an image, which would be easier. Because it's already done. So I could just do this right quick. Image. Alright. As you listen to the go to the watering hole theme. Let's see. Right. This one right here. So this is, oh, internet. Oh, it's huge. So this is what I look like. Wait, hold on. Okay. So this is the full of it. This is what I look like right here. Right? However, the controller is green. So like, it's kind of transparent on me right now, but this is what I look like fully. Big old bushy tail. Long, you know, long ears and stuff. And I have a controller in my hand. And green belly. So that's what I look like. I think she did a fantastic job. I couldn't be happier. So now this is me, you know. And I'm really, really happy about it. Yeah. I love what she's done. I think the only thing that's holding her back from actually giving you guys any content on her channel is literally her internet. And I can vouch for that. I told her all she has to do really is make some videos of her time lapses of her art. Because especially with what she's been using recently, it gives her like, it gives you the lapse itself anyway. And I've been seeing a few of it myself behind the scenes. And she's really enjoying what she's doing. So I have no doubt in my mind that, you know, she could show some of that stuff. Like I said, it's just that where she is, the internet is not good. I mean, you already see my stuff ends up breaking sometimes too. I live kind of near her, but our internet services are a little different. And limited as well, so. But I think for me, it's just because I'm too far from the router. But hers is a different story. But either way, you've seen her on stream and stuff. She has a bubbly personality. She laughs a lot. Very random. Like, funny voice and stuff, you know. And she's good at drawing. So I feel like she's a better artist than I am, but she's like, no, you're a great artist too. You just won't show anybody your stuff. And I'm just like, it's because I draw on paper. Like, I have to take the time to either take a picture of it or scan it to show people. I draw on paper. I mean, I've been doing it for years. I wouldn't say I'm stubborn. It just takes me a while to get used to it, to get used to drawing on non-paper. So Melon was my biggest project so far. She was even like, would you like me to brush up Melon as well? And I'm just like, honestly not really at the moment, because I feel like this has also become a passion project for me. And I want to see how far I can get, see if I can get better. I used to draw, I almost got good at it, but I just kind of gave up. Oh, don't give up. Treat it like your Spanish lessons. Keep going for it. Though, to be honest, I almost did too. Quite honestly. I mean, sometimes when you see that other people you think draw better than you do, it makes you want to give up. But if anything, it's actually inspiration. I feel like it's actually inspiration, because everyone's going to have some different way that they draw. That's how they get their style and whatnot. That's how you can distinguish, oh, I know that artist. I've seen that art style before. I like drawing on paper. You too. Okay, so you like drawing on paper as well. I don't know how long you've been doing that. I've been doing it for forever. So that's one of the reasons why I have been drawing on paper for so long. And of course I would doodle on notebook paper a lot in school. So it's just like whatever. Granted, all I am able to do is sketch and color with pencils. So I can't really I've never really tried coloring with marker or anything. I've never really tried to do sculpting. None of the big projects like that. So I don't consider myself to be some big artist. But I value everyone's work because they do a fine job. It takes a lot of time and effort to produce this stuff. I talk about Oxidu a lot as well. Axel Oxidu. Because he draws a lot as well. He draws digitally. Have a little bit of stream to show. Have a little bit of stream to show your drawings. It can be a YouTube short after the stream or its own clip for YouTube. Oh yeah. That's the thing too. I've been trying to figure out how shorts really work. I wish you could just... Because you still have to edit in a way to make the short work the way it does. I've seen so many clippers and stuff of other people's YouTube channels and stuff, and how they edit so much. They put so much into their editing, and it puts fear in me, because I'm just like, well, I can't do all of that. All I want to do is maybe zoom in or something, maybe once or twice, move to the other person and put captions or something. But so that scares me a little bit, because I don't really know how to edit. Hence why most of my stuff looks so mediocre, because I'm trying to do everything off of base. Or I'll clip something and then I maybe will send it to somebody else, because for some reason you can't view someone's clips that they've made on their channel. If you go to your library tab, you can see that the clips that you've made, but you can't see any clips that someone else has made on their channel. And I guess that's one of the reasons why people make clip channels. Specifically, people have their clippers on a separate channel and stuff, because you can't do that. And I don't understand why you can't, because the video is already there. You should be able to take a snippet from the video and just zoom in or whatever, because it's already in a phone format to begin with. So I think I just need to learn about it, quite honestly. If I can do that, that's really gonna add to my creativity, I think. Because sometimes I don't have the time to make a video. If you notice, I stream more than I make videos, because I find it to be easier to just stream to you than to make a video, be turn on record, be hey guys, welcome to such and such part this. Today we're doing this. Granted, it's easier to just be like, okay, I pause here, go to this spot, go there, whatever. Sure. But once I do this, and I finish the stream, it's recorded, it's done. All the goofs and gaffs and stuff are done. There's no editing. I don't do any editing per se. I never have anything like super bad happen, like any slurs or anything, so I don't have to like edit that out of a video or anything. So I find this to be easier as well. Granted, I am just playing a video game though, and I'm talking. But if it were to be like, oh yeah, I'll do a drawing stream, and I'll like do a drawing stream, and I start with like the tablet that I have, you will see how awkward it is for me to do so. I don't doubt that I can get good, but I'm just saying that I would have to get used to quote unquote the canvas that I'm dealing with. I'm so used to like manually erasing stuff and moving this somewhere, that, and I know it's more convenient to actually digitally sketch 100%. But I'm so used to like drawing like the skeleton or whatever, not like a literal one, you know, but like drawing like the circles and stuff, and then like putting pressure onto where I want it to be, and then erasing what I don't want. And for some reason I view it online or on computer as like I draw that with like a different color, and then maybe I draw over that with a different color, or like most people do, use a different layer. And then they have the whole trouble of, oh, I drew this on the wrong layer and stuff like that. And I'm just like, man, people have like 87 different layers when, you know, and like I said, it can be convenient, especially when you like name your layers. That would make sense, you know? But that's not going to stop you from drawing on the wrong layer, because you still have to remember to change to the right layer and stuff like that. So it's a different beast. But hats off to all the digital artists out there, for real. And hats off to those who still draw with pencil and paper. I love you all the same. You do great work. And if I stumble across it, you'll see me say something, more than likely, because I value the work and effort that is put into the art that is done. So hats off to you guys. That's a PSA from me. My last good drawing. Oh darn it! That's not a good spot. My last good drawing before I quit. I remember ripping it up. Aw, so your last good drawing you ended up ripping it up because you felt like it just wasn't good enough. I've been there, honestly. I don't like it. I don't like that I also went through something like that. But the real question is, how did you feel after that, and how do you feel now about that? You know? Because you should always know that it's not the end. You know? There you go. Like, art rules the world now. Well, digitally. Anything online, anything you see. If you see anything VTuber related, hey, guess what? That's art. And you can only imagine how much it costs for most people to get VTuber models done, rigged, only for people to go through so much stress that they feel like they can't continue because of what may have happened with like a bad fan or so, or a group of people. And then it's like all that money gone down the drain because, you know, of what has happened and stuff like that. But, you know, it feels nice to be able to start a project from the ground up and progress with it, and feel happy about it. Art is always going to be subjective no matter what. It's just like opinions. And you always feel great when someone else values your work, and you do feel down when someone doesn't like it. But one thing is, you have to always remember that more than likely you're going to have more people who like your work than people who don't, even though we like to hold on to the negative. And yes, that is something that we actively do. We can have, people have said it millions of times, we have 100, 200, 5,000 people who love the content, love the work. You could have 800 likes, and you could see 1 to 5 dislikes, and it makes you wonder why. Why did they dislike it? What's wrong? What happened? Instead of focusing on the 800 likes that people have given. Why do we do it? Why do we focus on the negatives? Because we feel like we have to be perfect. We feel like there is something that's not being done right. So if we feel like we're doing something wrong, we want to figure out what that wrong is, so that we can shape that up so that things can be better. Motivation, much like your name, is something that goes a long way. It drives us to do what we want to do. Otherwise, we just feel like sad or scared to put our foot forward. We don't want to make that mistake when, honestly, the mistake is what's going to drive us forward. And it's a problem I used to have for a very long time, including with my current job, before I finally got better and felt more confident with what I'm doing. Wah! Ah! So yeah. I'm not gonna act like you're not gonna have an emotion that isn't happiness. All I can say is deal with it the best way that you possibly can, because happy isn't the only emotion that we have. But it is still how we deal with, anger, sadness, dread, anxiousness, It puts us in a weird state. It puts us in a why is this happening state. But we never question why we're happy, because we see that happiness is a good feeling. We feel like it's like the only feeling, other than, oh man, I kind of like having the anxiety of having a time limit on a project, because it makes me see how much I can do within a short period of time. Maybe that's one way to make anxiousness be used for good. I don't know. But in terms of anger, well, there have been times where I was made so angry that I ended up doing a task faster and more efficient because I was so pissed off. And I don't know how that works. For some reason, it was like a fiber focus situation. Usually when you get angry, your IQ drops by like 20% or so. So what would make you do better instead of be like Donkey Kong and start picking up everything and throwing everything at a wall, right? But if someone ticks you off, sometimes you're just like, screw this! And then you just start doing a task 20 times faster than you normally would. And it's okay. And it's weird. Sadness, I don't know too much about that one. Sadness, I don't think... Oh, that was a bad jump. Sadness, I don't really think is a... I don't know how to... I mean, you need sadness as a check of not everything is going to be good. That you're not in a dream that you are living. It's like a living check, I guess. If you've ever seen Inside Out, I think that was the whole purpose of that. I like that movie. It was basically trying to show you that, yes, these emotions play an important part. And it's not all just happiness or confidence. Because too much confidence can ruin you. I'm going to head out. Have a great night. Alright, thanks, Motivational. Glad you were able to stop by. Thanks for sticking out. Thanks for talking to me. It was really nice. Hope to see you again. I'll probably end up ending in a bit, because it's been... How many hours has it been? It's been almost 3, I think. 12, 1, 2. Yeah, it's almost been 3. So this might be a decently long NSO that's done. But I did have the feedback and stuff, and it was fun to do. I like doing this. So anyone out there in VOD land, I do adore stuff like this. I like it when I'm able to talk to my listeners. I can talk about just about anything, as long as it's not, you know, gonna cause World War V, you know what I mean? Nice. I mean, I got through Worlds 1 through 5 while talking, so I mean, I don't know. It's a fun game. I think a lot of people do see this game to be pretty difficult, though. It has so many levels. World 10 has the most levels. The most, like, listed levels in terms of, like, the number of panels. But I think 7 may have more levels in terms of, like, extra stuff. Like, Hammer Brothers and stuff. Well, they're not Hammer Brothers in that one. It's, well, there may be. But, like, the Piranha Plant one and stuff. Or whatnot. Excuse me. Station. But yeah, to anyone out there, I'm about as normal as you are. Whatever you may think what makes you crazy, I can promise you I've probably been there unless it's something super crazy. I'm just really happy to be able to do this. So, I find it to be really fun. And like I said, I feel more inclined to stream because of B12's great work. Feels nice to be able to show you a face that isn't from Sanria. Me being like, oh yes, I'm Mario Enjoyer 8549, and I just have like a Mario picture up, like you've seen on, well, if you've seen my my Fire Emblem video, the last Fire Emblem video I've done, because I haven't gone back to it in a bit because I've been streaming more. I used Roy as the face. Just, you know, I don't know, immersion thing, I guess. I don't know, it was just something I thought of. I don't know if that's okay or not, but I feel like it's okay as long as I'm not, like, swearing or something. I'm not stealing the property, I'm playing the game with the character in it, but I may or may not just switch to this one instead, depending. Funnily enough, I don't swear much outside of streaming anyway. It's one of the reasons why you don't really hear me do it much anyway. You'll hear it from my friends, sure, and I don't have any problems with it because my streams aren't necessarily made for kids. That's why I have my streams set to not made for kids. It's also why you're able to comment on them and stuff too, and have chat and whatnot. But I'm not against talking about adult themes or anything like that, but I'd rather be more of a voice of reason, a voice of funny, a voice of happiness, I guess. Just want to see, I mean, I want to make you guys smile. That's the goal of, I think that's the goal of like every VTuber, honestly, is to make you guys smile. Regardless of what you're going through, we want you guys to at least have some sort of happiness in your life. So we're like, you know, thank you for clicking on our video, thank you for watching us, thank you for staying with us. It means a lot to us. An idol is nothing without their fans. So, I mean, you can sing to a wall and hope that someone hears you, and more than likely someone will. But sometimes it is nice to know that someone is listening to you, if you are singing or whatnot. Yokata, yokata, moto no sugata ni modoreta. Arigato, Peachy Hime kara. I read it faster, but still couldn't read it all. お元気ですか？ピーチはとても元気よ。1ワールドの3つ目のゴールの陰でキノピオから魔法の笛をもらってください。宝物一つを送ります。何かのお役に立ててください。ピーチ。And once again, her name was always Peach in Japanese, but they called her Princess Toadstool in English up until Super Mario 64. I cannot remember the item button. And wouldn't you know it, I have one whistle. Welcome to World 9, the Warp Zone. Hey, お前がしてる間にピーチは預かったぜ。悔しかったら、俺様の城まで来てみやがれ。ぐわははは。クッパ。Come to my castle. Omae no shiro. Not Omae no shiro, but Wagahai no shiro. Because apparently Bowser usually says, or Koopa-sama usually says Wagahai for his watashi. Much like Lapras Darkness. That tells you I'm a Hololive fan. It's been a while since I watched some of their videos because I've been streaming more. The more I stream, the less I watch. But I need to watch them more. Or I need to watch everyone more. So I use my time at work to do that. I listen to them while I'm working, so that I can still perform my duties at work. This way I don't stay distracted. That's why I feel like I'm fine with what I do at work. I don't have to worry about being so distracted that I don't get any work done. I focus on the work that I need to do first anyway, and then I sit down and put in my earplugs, which are OSHA approved, because they double as both music and sound protection, ear protection, frequency. And I just watch and listen, basically, for 9 to 10 hours. Then I come home and I either stream or I go to sleep. But it feels better to stream after a second shift than a third. I always feel weird on a third. But it's one of the reasons why I'm able to stream right now as well. Even though technically, even if I was on second right now, I would be able to stream right now, because if I were on second, I wouldn't go to sleep until 2 hours from now or 3 hours from now. But being on third means I have to stay up a little bit longer. Otherwise, it's gonna screw me up. Unless I take a nap and then go back to sleep. Which sometimes that screws me up too. So I'd rather be like dog tired, trying to go to sleep before my first shift. My first third shift. So that I get acclimated to it. Blah. But I know that people have school to go to and stuff. If they're around my school zone or time zone, or 3 hours, 4 hours ahead. Either way, it's still early morning, or as most would say, still night because the sun isn't up. So. But once again, that's what the VOD is for. I know it's probably like, I'm not gonna watch a 4-hour, 7-hour VOD, and it's like, well, here's the cool part. You don't have to watch it. That's what these are for. The gameplay is just a bonus. I'm mostly just talking. Dead. I think a lot of people like it when they're able to listen to people who are down to earth and whatnot. And that's fine. I have my down to earth times, I have my wacky times. I wouldn't say I have my degenerate times, per se. If I do, it's not as extreme as you would think it would be. So it's like, you would think I don't have a non-innocent or a guilty bone in my body, but that's not true. Keep in mind that I get angry with how my coworker is. Trust me, I've had some thoughts when it came to that, but I've learned to clear my head on that because it's, you know, it's just not worth going super crazy over, if that makes any sense. Which I had to learn once again. I had to be told that in order to understand that, hey, oh man, it's gonna be okay. Oh, I didn't go low enough. That's why. I thought I was all the way on the right. I was on the left. But yeah. As you can see, or if you frequented any of my videos or streams, you'll see that I'm not the best gamer. But that doesn't stop me from streaming a game or coming up with what game should I play this week, or should I just go variety. It's a lot easier to just say NSO and chill because, quite frankly, I didn't actually plan to go through the whole of this game while talking. It just happened to be this way. But it's better than just putting, XS plays Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Advance 4, for the 12th time, and talks about social acceptance or something. Nah, it's nothing like that. Chigayo, chigayo. Daijoubu da. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. So I will say, I'm thinking about playing through, or attempting to play through Super Luigi U. You heard me right. Super Luigi U. On the Wii U. TM. I have it on disc. I can play it. It's difficult. But it's also... Oh. It's also a, style. It's also a... I'm kind of used to it in terms of like how quick it is, because it gives you 100 seconds, which is a minute and 40 seconds. But the thing about it is, they're real seconds. It's not like actual Mario seconds. If you pay attention to the time in this game right here, well, these seconds are kind of close to seconds, but they're not. They're still faster than actual seconds. Mario 1 is probably the fastest when it comes to that. But Super Luigi U has actual seconds. So you get a full minute 40. And the levels aren't long. I think the hardest part is if you're trying to be a completionist trying to get all the coins. Otherwise, just treat it like this game, where the levels are very short. The levels had to be short to fit so many levels in it. They're about as long. Well, they're a little bit longer than this one, as you can see. These are meant to be really short because they're just little panels to get like some items, usually leaves, super leaf. But I made it to World 8, I skipped World 7, and I have 43 lives. What? And the thing about the new Super Mario series is that... Excuse me. Is that... with Luigi being taller and having a taller jump, if you aim for the top of the pole every time, you will get a 1-up. So, I mean... it's not difficult. And you get that extra jump anyway in the air when you press the R button. So in terms of getting lives, it won't be that bad. Also guys, remember the fish? Remember the fish that I had so much trouble with in Super Princess Peach 3? It's haunting me. And it's taunting me. It's getting me. I'm not angry though, obviously. But now I'm getting that PTSD. Ah! No, we're gonna clear it. I don't have to skip it. But the fish are very troublesome. And Oksana. Natsukashi kamo. Demo, boku wa makanai. Who knew a Cheep Cheep could be so deadly though? It's all about where they come from, where they spawn in. You can tell I talked a lot because I'm clearing my throat a lot more. And you can probably hear it in my voice as well, which is kind of weird. I think I'm just getting accustomed to this. Ah! Now that was dumb. That was dumb. I'm losing the flair because I'm now focused on gameplay instead of actually talking about things. Weird how that works, huh? Because there's something... sometimes there's a thing called too much focus. Oh! Oh! Also, Luigi does control differently in the e-reader levels. Does not control great. Is the worst possible controlling I've ever dealt with. And you could probably ask anyone else as well, because it's different from regular gameplay, and I do not know why. No one asked for that challenge. Also, this level is the fastest level in the game. Fastest speed auto-scroll. It's fitting. Woo! But I'm thinking about what Motivational said. Maybe I should post some of my drawings. Ah! Some of my drawings in my community tab or something like that. I don't see why not. I'm just not the... yeah, I mean... I don't know. I'm quite a lore builder as well. Ah! So we'll see how that goes. But I have to prepare for that because I'm not sure. I don't want to use a P-Wing on this, because I know I can clear it. Anyone can just use a P-Wing on this. Once again, what do I have to prove? I don't. I'm just saying. I don't have to use a P-Wing on this level. In fact, I find it to be easier to be small on this level. I just have to drop faster. Because the wrenches are killing me. I actually called them wrenches this time. Oh, come on. I'll use Tanuki. How about that? I like Tanuki. Do I have Tanuki? I think I only got one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got one. I'll just use... Let's do Frog. Because it's funny. It's actually not ideal because I can't crouch, but whatever. Oh my goodness. If I hold the run button and I jump, I go so far. Frog Suit underrated, I'm telling you. Especially Frog Suit Luigi. Wah. Ah. I mean, that's the end though. It's a fun level. I like it. Probably my favorite one of World 8. More than the final. And I don't even hate the final. I hate the ones in between though. I was also gonna say, when Peach showed up top, it reminded me of the Mother 3 sprites. Or not Mother 3 specifically, but it reminded me of the Mother sprites, the Earthbound sprites. Oh. You know what, guys? I think I'm done. I just realized I don't like this level. At all. At all. 100% at all. In fact, how far back can I go? I don't remember if I have to clear this one to get a key. I think I do. Yeah, I do. Let's just say we beat it. You've seen me beat it before, right? Right? Okay, cool. So yeah, I got through most of this. Even though that wasn't even the intent. But, I really enjoyed this. And I really enjoyed the company that I got tonight. I really did not expect it, and I'm really happy about it. So thanks, guys, for actually, talking with me. Make me feel warm and fuzzy, actually. Um, but I guess it's time. あの、いつも見てくれてありがとう。来てくれてありがとう。Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Always a joy. Hope it wasn't too bad. Hope it wasn't too long. Then again, I'm pretty sure you're used to 4+ hours at this point, especially what I used to do. For you madmen out there who actually do that, but thank you anyway. Thank you all the same. 100%. この配信は終わります。でも楽しかったな。めちゃめちゃ楽しいです。あbut I think I will. I think I am going to do like Super Luigi U though. You get to watch me do basically what I was doing with Super Princess Peach 3. So that's gonna be interesting. The only difference is this game is official. So uh hats off and good luck to that, I guess. But I'm X Kinavia, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye. Mata ne.